So today, guys, we're going to be talking about a set that, man, I forgot how good this set actually was. Now, the main reason why is because we can say that the Striker set is just so good that you tend to forget about some of these other sets that compete with it. And one set being the set that you're seeing right now, the Heartbreaker set. Now, the big difference between the two is this one has sustained armor, right? Like you'll build those armor stacks as long as you're not taking a lot of damage. You should be able to keep them up most of the time, and that's the real big difference, that you'll have that big chunk of armor to keep those bullets from really taking away from your base armor. And if you build it right, you can actually have sustained armor coming in, right? Like armor on kill, or you could even have sometime armor on kill over time, right? Different things you guys can do to make the build perform even better. And I think I found a perfect balance of hitting really hard with this build, but also a little shining. So what we'll do is, you guys are seeing the gameplay and we are flying through content right here. And that's the one thing I wanted to show you, how well this build will perform. So let's talk about the build and show you how I have it set up, so that way you guys can test it out and see if you like running it this way. So for the specialization, we are running the Gunner class mainly for that 10% armor on kill to give us a chunk of armor back. You remember, we want to have something that gives us armor back, not just bonus armor, as the Heartbreaker set is a big bonus armor set, right? But none of that armor comes back. So if we start getting that bonus armor, but we haven't replenished our armor, there's going to be an issue. So getting that 10% armor on kill is definitely a little boost in that survivability department. Now for our weapon, we're running the FAMAS. Now, if you notice, this one has 100,000 damage. Now this does bump up based on how many stacks you have on this build. So we have 12% weapon damage, so that's 12% from the expertise. We have 15% assault rifle damage, 19% health damage, and 10% damage to targets out of cover, and then preservation. Like I said, remember, the Heartbreaker builds that bonus armor, but it doesn't really give you any true armor back. But preservation alongside the Gunner class, right? So killing an enemy repairs 10% armor over 5 seconds. Now, if I get a headshot kill, that's an additional 10%. So that's 20% armor over 5 seconds. So we're getting that back. Now you add that with the 10% from the Gunner class, that means we could get up to 30% armor, 10% instantly, and then 20% over time with the headshot, or 10% over time with the body shot kill. So some pretty good stats here. For the sight, we have 5% crit chance, 5% crit chance on the laser pointer, we have 5% crit chance on the muzzle brake, and then we have 20 round mag on the extended magazine. Now for my secondary, I always like running the rock and roll with the Striker class, or even with the Heartbreaker class. It lets you build those stacks fast. We have shotgun damage, damage to armor, damage targets out of cover, and then obviously this comes with perfectly extra. The great thing about this is that's an additional 50% magazine capacity, so we're sitting at 30 rounds in the mag. Very good for building stacks, and that's kind of my go-to for this. So like I've been talking, we are running the Heartbreaker set. So we have 15% assault rifle damage, which is going to work towards that from Moss. We also have 15% LMG damage. If you want to run this with LMG, you guys can. 15% weapon handling, that's going to help control that FAMAS very easy. And then the 4-piece, remember, headshot supply pulse for 5 seconds. Since I am using a pulse, that helps, but this also helps you continue to keep that stack, especially if you learn to control your weapon. Getting those headshots is pretty easy. Weapon hits on pulse enemies add a stack of 1% bonus armor and 1% damage to pulsed enemies, up to a max stack of 50 stacks. So that means you could have 50% extra bonus armor and at the same time have 50% extra damage to those pulse enemies. So pulse, hitting him in the head will pulse them. Pretty cool stuff. So we have weapon damage, critical damage, and critical hit chance right here for the stats on the mask. For our second piece of Heartbreaker, running the chest piece, is going to give us weapon damage, critical hit chance, and then if you notice what this does, it increases max stacks of the Heart Stopper from 50 to 100. So that means we can now have 100% extra bonus armor and 100% bonus damage towards those pulsed enemies. So a lot of damage coming out from running the chest piece, and that's why I feel like the chest piece is a great spot, a great piece to put on there. For our third piece of Heartbreaker, we have the holster, so we're gonna have armor and critical hit chance. For the knee pads, we went with the Fox Prayer knee pads. This is gonna give us that 10% rifle damage, which doesn't do anything to our build, but we're mainly using it for that 8% multiplicative damage of the damage to targets out of cover, with weapon damage and critical damage. Now, I tested the same stats with the Picaro's holster. Same crit chance, same crit damage, except I just swapped it out to the Picard's holster, and then I put a Heartbreaker Set here, and this one actually performed better. And the same thing happened with the Grupo Sombra piece. I tested it out, and the Foxbear knee pads perform better than both of those. So if you're thinking about using the Picard's holster or using the Grupo Sombra knee pads or holster, however you want to swap it, and then putting Heartbreaker, this is definitely going to perform a little bit better. So that's just something for you guys to keep in mind. The numbers aren't crazy better, but over a short period of time, yeah, they are better. You'll see like the damage numbers. Just go to the range and test it out yourself. For the fourth piece of Heartbreaker, we have the gloves, and this is going to be armor and critical damage. And the last but not least with this build, we have the memento. So this is going to give us weapon damage, armor, and critical chance. So that gives us 4 reds, 3 blues, and 1 yellow. We're sitting at 1.3 million armor. We have a crit chance mod on here, so we can get closer to getting that cap of 60%. And then we have kill confirmed on here. So remember, every time we pick up a trophy for 10 seconds, we're going to get 20% extra weapon damage. We're going to get 30% extra bonus armor and 5% skill efficiency. Really good. And not only that, once we're at max stack, which you can continue to keep up, we're always going to have that 30% weapon damage, 30% skill efficiency, and 3% armor regen, which equates to about 40,000 armor regen on this build. You won't see it because we're not at full stacks. 40,000 armor regen will be on this build just because of having this at max stack. So that's something just for you guys to keep in mind when you guys are running this. If we go to the stats real quick, you'll see we have 49% crit chance, 89% crit damage, 75% headshot damage, and then we have 19% health damage. Don't forget we have the damage targets out of cover, which is going to be 18% because we have 10% on the weapon and then 8% on the knee pads. Like I said, you'll see the 133,000 armor on kill. The armor regen will be about 40,000 armor regen based on this build with max stack. So that's that 3% armor regen, and we're sitting at 1.3 million armor. So like I said, I decided to run a pulse with this one because it helps. Since I'm not using a link laser pointer, you can't use one on the FAMAS. This really helps you get that pulse. If you can't hit those headshots, you need something that's going to pulse the enemy, right? So hit a headshot, you can stack on the body, but the pulse allows you just to stack everywhere as long as they're pulsed. So something for you guys to keep in mind with that. And then we're going to pair it up with the Defender Drone, which is going to give us damage reduction of 30%. And don't forget, this increases the efficiency of this increases with skill efficiency as I'm getting that 30% skill efficiency. So just something for you to keep in mind why I am using this build. And honestly, this is how I like running this build, and I think it works very well. It's been a while since I run this because I'm a big fan of Striker. I just like the DPS on Striker is going to be better, but I feel like your survivability on this one, just because you can stack that armor, is pretty good. The cool thing about Strikers is you can stack, since you have more damage, you can stack more armor. So they're both really good sets. Personally, I like Striker the best, but I forgot how good this set is for any of you guys who did want to try out the Heartbreaker set and see how it would do. But yeah, try it out. Definitely using this preservation on the FAMAS works amazing with this because of that incoming armor that you're getting. But we are going to wrap the build up here. Hey, I appreciate the support, appreciate the love. I will see you guys in the next one. But until then, ain't nothing but skills out.